Hey, Eric here. Let's talk about the 5G issues. There are so many cool technologies that they're talking about on all these expos right now, and they all rely on 5G, and I've got 5 reasons why it's not going to work. Please, let's take some time to go through it. We'll talk about the tech, but beforehand, like, subscribe, share. All of this stuff is technology related. It all turns into money. It's just a complete ecosystem here, including the real estate stuff. So anyway, all right, let's talk about the issues with 5G. I did do another video a while ago of why people are freaked out about 5G, but we'll get to that. But anyway, all right, real quick, there are some cool technologies out there. They are announcing things like multiverses and digital universes, like online holodecks for virtual reality, and like all this real-time interactions. You could go to a virtual place, build a virtual office, and hang out with people virtually in like a VR, virtual reality, or augmented reality environment and do stuff. You could have a job on there. There's even, it's just the sky is the limit. The stuff that they're talking about that's being built in the cloud right now is amazing. Problem is the networks just aren't there. There's a lot of issues with this whole thing. And what I mean by a whole lot of issues, so everybody is saying, hey, 5G is going to fix all of these issues and we can do all this cool stuff and we'll have unlimited bandwidth and unlimited data and it'll be fast and low time and low latency. 5G will just fix everything and we'll just keep on working on all this cool stuff and it'll come. I don't think so. And so today I'm talking about the 5 reasons why 5G isn't going to solve these things or solve them anytime soon. There are some technologies out there, and I have to disclose, I do own a company that solves some of these on current internet connections, and check that out, it's called Simple WAN. But I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about why 5G is not the answer, even though all these big companies keep pointing to it as going to be the answer. So first, let's talk about the 5G technology limitations. Most people know there's been some huge auctions for frequency and things like that, and these frequencies are much higher than the current 4G technologies. The thing you've got to know about frequencies are the higher the frequency, the further it doesn't go. Now, there's a lot of latency savings and things like that. Latency's time. But the higher you get in these frequencies, and these are super, super high frequencies, they don't go it very far. So we're already starting off on some limitations that don't exist today in today's current 4G type of rollout. That core thing, which is physics, you can't get around. And that's going to be the major problem which affects the other 4 items on the list. So just keep that in mind. Put that in the back of your head. The fundamental technology this is built on is a problem. All right, number 2. Dialing into what I said on number 1 is most people don't know. So 4G was launched about 12 years ago almost-ish, somewhere around there. They are still rolling out 4G towers. It is 2021. And the 4G rollout in the United States is not complete. They're still upgrading towers. I was on the phone with somebody earlier today in a different country, and they said that they still are rolling out 4G in those countries. It's like, what is going on? So that's how far behind it's 12 years. The other thing is part of this limitation is there's going to have to be 50 times the amount of towers. Actually, it's way more than that. It's thousands of times the number of towers because they're micro towers and they're nearby to make this work. You're going to have one. It's going to be like a Wi-Fi thing, but yet you're depending on the carriers to roll this out. So you'll have to have a tower every 500 to 1,000 feet to be able to get the true benefit of 5G, which is the low latency and the fast speeds. If it's taken them 12 years to upgrade all the existing 3G towers to 4G, and they're still not done, how long is it going to take them to roll out all these micro towers everywhere? Getting the permits, running the cables, having the fiber optics there, having the communication there, having the power there. And this might work well in some really densely populated areas, but most of America is not a densely populated area. This is going to be a massive problem for some time. It's going to be expensive. Sorry for the weird annotation there, but wow. If it costs billions of dollars to roll out 4G, How many billions of dollars is it going to cost to roll out these towers every so many hundreds of feet on every block and things like that? I know there's going to be some long range stuff, but that's not going to be very fast. The real 5G benefit is going to be these micro towers everywhere, and it's going to cost a fortune. And do you think the carriers are just going to eat that? It's going to have to come from somewhere. And that rolls into number 3. The vision that the carriers have for 5G and the gaming community and the VR community, all of these high-tech, high-data, high-bandwidth virtual communities, is a lot of bandwidth and a lot of time using that bandwidth. And so they want to put a chip in everything. So today you have a chip in your most people do, in your TV. That's Wi-Fi. You've got one in your thermostat. It's Wi-Fi. Your fridge, it's Wi-Fi. I mean, more and more things are getting on your Wi-Fi, and you don't pay for those things individually. Like my house, I've got over 60 devices that are Wi-Fi enabled on my network. I don't pay for them. For the vision of 5G is they want you to pay for every single device that you connect to this. So instead of your thermostat having Wi-Fi, it'll have a 5G device. And they're doing this now with like Apple Watch. So you have a service contract for your tablet, for your iPhone, and then you've got another one for your watch. A lot of people didn't upgrade to the newest Apple Watch because they didn't want to pay that extra fee, even though it was only $5. If you've got 50 devices in your house, that adds up. And so the carriers are like, oh, this is going to be great. You're going to pay for every single device in your house. It's not going to happen. For those that were early to 4G may remember a company called WiMAX, and this is what they were trying to do in the mid 2000s to late 2000s or to early 2010s. Sprint was a big supporter. I had a laptop with WiMAX in it, and the idea was it was like Wi-Fi but 4G, but yeah, I had to pay for it. I never activated that WiMAX chip. I didn't see the point. I'd rather just jump on a Wi-Fi or create a hotspot from my phone and have to pay for one device. So we've got a human nature issue that they've got to overcome here. To pay for all of those towers, the carriers are going to want more money, not less money. They're not going to let you connect this stuff up for free. I think we've got a massive human nature thing. People are not going to let go of their Wi-Fi and their singular connections. And the carriers are just not going to be willing enough to give it away cheap enough for people to let go of that, or for free even. I mean, it's kind of insanity. So we have got a huge issue on that front. Going on to 4. We're talking about gaming. We're talking about some of these other things that are bandwidth intensive. The promise of 4G was unlimited data. And there's some plans out there that are still legacy unlimited data, and they truly are. But most of today's plans, we went through a phase where it was a fixed data rate. And if you get a unlimited plan today, most of the plans after 22 gigs, they deprioritize you to like dial-up speeds. Well, give you an idea, like playing an online cloud gaming stream eats up about 20 gigs an hour. So you burn through your entire regular data plan in an hour. The reason they do this is because they don't want to overload the network. And I don't see those things going away with 5G. You still have, when everybody gets off of school at 3 o'clock, they all jump on the game, they all jump on their computers, they're all jumping on YouTube, and the problem still happens. The network is overloaded. 3 o'clock in the morning, no problems, who cares? But you still have this load issue, and it's not going to go away. And so that we think that when 5G rolls out, the technologies and the backbone's going to have to be built up, the fiber to have to be built up to the towers. There's so much buildup, and then they have to buy this bandwidth, that we think that they're suddenly just going to say, hey, yeah, why don't you go ahead and eat a terabyte of data playing a 5-hour game or 3-hour game, 20 times a month. I think our expectations of what they want to do and what they want to get paid for don't line up with the reality of what the needs are. Even at best, I mean, the technology rollouts and things like that, we're talking years, maybe 10 to 20 years. I could be retired by the time we get the full value of 5G, and then we're going to say, oh, we need 6G because it's not enough. They are running so far behind. It's a massive problem, and the economics don't line up with what people and the consumer are willing to pay for and what they want. Massive, massive issue here. The last item, and this is what I talked about, I did a video about this, and I had a tin hat on and everything, is fear and trust. First of all, most people don't trust the carriers. They just don't. They don't trust the government who's approving these frequency allocations and things like that. There is, first of all, these little towers, these micro towers everywhere, they look different. They're everywhere in their neighborhood. People think that they're spying on them. They think they're cameras. They think they're surveillance devices and things like that. So there is a lot of fear and distrust. There has been a number of cases of, and they're calling them terrorist attacks, but where people are taking baseball bats and destroying these towers because they think that there's surveillance and they think that the 5G is irradiating their brains and, effects on them. And no doubt RF technologies have effects on the human body. We will be long past deployment and into 6 and 7G by the time we realize what the effects were of 5G. Like, we still don't know all the effects of 4G. This creates a lot of fear and distrust. And so if you're building these towers and you're trying to get them built as quickly as possible, and you have a large community out there destroying them or unwilling to subscribe to the services because they're afraid of the health effects or the physical effects or that somebody's spying on them, that's a huge hurdle to overcome. So the top 5 are, well, first of all, I'm going to review technology limitations. They're not going to go away. I mean, they're set. That's what we're moving with. The cost and time behind this is just enormous on all fronts. We've got a human nature thing. People don't want to pay for individual devices. They've been doing Wi-Fi for years where they can connect whatever the heck they want to a single connection, and it just works. It's going to be a hard push to give this away and expect people to use it, not give it away, and the carriers won't give it away. Bandwidth, load, those things aren't going to go away. 5G is not going to get solved here. It's not going to solve all of these issues that we keep thinking it will be. It's a lot of hope that we keep talking about. But if you look at history, it's not going to happen. And of course, the biggest thing is fear and distrust. That's not going to go away either. So it's important that we realize these things. We should probably look at other technologies, upgrading the way we handle routers and Wi-Fi's and, fiber lines and cable modems. Those things are here. People are used to dealing with those technologies. They're not going to do a massive shift overnight. And we've got to stop kidding ourselves. I want these cool new technologies. I want VR. I want this second world stuff. Like, I want to be able to experience it and play with it. It's exciting. But if we keep pretending that 5G is going to get us there, we're never going to get there. We have to address this through other technologies. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully this brought you value. And please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it. And hopefully we see you in the next video. Thank you.